Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is boxer, strongman, bodybuilder, actor, stuntman. He does it all. He's even a writer, and he's a good friend of ours. Guy Grundy, welcome.
G'day, mate. How are you, buddy?
Good day, mate. I want to say that. Where did Day Mate come from in Australia? How did that come about?
Mate, I was born in Sydney, Australia, in a place called Penrith, which is probably the equivalent of Compton. And my father left when I was about 2, and I was pretty much just thrown around by like a football between family members. But as a kid, you know, I suffered from malnutrition. I had severe acne. It was discovered that I was unable to. I was a very good athlete, so I was in all the state teams and everything. But then I like an Australian scholarship to go to another school, and at 13, it was found out that I couldn't read or write at all. So I was banned from all sports, and I literally rode the small yellow bus. That was me. I was there, and I was graded with. I was that dumb. I was with the 7-year-olds, and I was the dumbest one of the 7-year-olds. So
they have the yellow bus in Australia too, huh? I didn't know that.
Mate, I don't know. I can't remember if it was yellow, but it was definitely wasn't a bus that you were proud to be on. You weren't telling people about it. And basically, I went to the Prince of Wales of Hospitals. A big shout out to them, and they taught me to read. And as you said, I've had over like 100 articles published. My grammar and everything's still not perfect, but reading, it changed my life because I didn't have a father figure growing up, and so I never knew what a man was. And I must have read probably 300-400 biographies just to learn what a man is, and then you're discovering it through yourself. And I always wanted to be stand out, I guess, as a little
What book did you relate to most growing up? I mean, you read all these books obviously because you were functionally illiterate up to 13. When you finally started reading, what book were you able to read, I guess you could say, that would say be something that you can relate to? Saying, you know what, this is someone that, this is a book that I can relate to the main character. Oh, we still lost him here. Well, Guy, wait till we get him on, because Guy's got some great stories. I've known this guy for years. He used to write for Muscle Mag International. He's a bodybuilder. He's into movies now. We're going to talk about his movie that he's got coming up. He's got his YouTube series. He also, I don't know if you guys have been following the drama with him and Mike O'Hearn. There was a fight challenge put out there from Mike O'Hearn to Guy, and Guy was up for the challenge, and we're going to hear the whole story. Supposedly Mike O'Hearn backed down. I don't know. We'll find out. But once we get Guy back here, maybe you want to go to commercial break, Johnny, or should I just keep babbling? Well, we could talk about other things. I don't know if you guys saw the Regan Grimes interview I did earlier today. Regan is an amazing kid. He's 22 years old, trained by Chris Aceto. He got his pro card this year by winning the Arnold Brazil amateur event. Next year, he'll be getting on the pro stage. He's another one of these new generation of guys, Cody Montgomery in that category, Dallas McCarver in that category, where we're going to see some tremendous bodybuilding and future potential from these guys. So, guys, if you didn't check out the Regan Grimes interview, check that out now. It is available on the YouTube channel and on the RXMuscle website. And I think we got Guy Grundy back here. Guy, I was asking you, you told me you read a lot of books because you were pretty much functionally illiterate growing up. And you read these books to try to define yourself as a man, to see, what is a man? What book were you able to relate to the most, and why?
I couldn't say there would be just one book, but if I had to say that I had two personalities that really I was inclined towards, would be Vince Lombardi because of the discipline and the dedication and whatnot, but also Errol Flynn, where I've been extremely wild and love the wild times and the craziness. So they're the two people I would say that I resemble the most combined. But overall, just things like reading from Jack Dempsey in his book when he said that he was scared before every fight. And I was like, wow, he was scared. And then I heard being scared meant you were brave. And then I was like, I must have been the bravest person in the entire world, because everything I've done, I've been so scared to do it. So just a little bit of everything made me feel better about myself, and I could understand myself. But Errol Flynn and just the wild side, the craziness, and then the dedication and discipline of the Vince Lombardi.
as a bodybuilder, obviously, you require a tremendous amount of discipline. Where did you learn discipline? Because you kind of grew up, like you said, like being neglected. There was really no one there paying attention to you. How did you teach yourself such discipline so that you were able to function as a decent bodybuilder?
Mate, it's a real good. I think I was at a surf carnival, which is what we do in Australia, like street sprints, the rowing and everything. And there was this one guy. He must have been probably 18, and he was a bodybuilder. And I was probably 11 or something, and he's just walking by in his Speedos, and he was built like a bodybuilder, but he just walked like he was a normal guy, just being cool, and it just had such an influence on me where I was like, I want someone to look at me the way I'm looking at this guy in complete awe. And also, the only thing I ever heard about my father from my mother was that he was a boxer. So I assumed that my dad was tough, and he had muscle. So those kind of little things are ingrained in my brain, I think.
Did you ever meet your dad later in life?
Who was that, buddy?
Did you ever meet your real dad later in life?
Yes, I did. We became. It's funny. I met him when I was probably 7, and he was just leaning when I was in. For anyone that knows the Bra Boys, the way I grew up, the movie The Bra Boys, I went to school with them. The guys that murdered people and they were the gangs. I lived in a very rough area, the Bra Boys. So that was in that area, actually. And there's a man just leaning against a fence when we get out, and your mum said, "You know who that is?" And I had never seen him, and I said, "That's my dad." And so we'd formed a relationship. We never had a really close relationship until later in life. And then when he got cancer and he got sick, then we started to get a lot closer and started to talk a lot more because he wasn't there a lot in my life. So I just, the discipline came, mate, because I think I moved around so much that the only really stable thing that was in my life was you could always weight train. I could always weight train. And then it was a pivotal point when I was like 18 where I could be a professional rugby player, continue it, or bodybuilding. And I went to the first training session for rugby and I said, there's no way I can do both. And that's when I said, I want to be an actor. I said the muscles, I love the way that looks. And I was a very physical and aggressive rugby player, so I would not have lasted. I think I would have reached the highest level, but I would not physically have been able to last long enough. My body wouldn't have been able to hold up to it.
Some bodybuilding footage of you on stage when you competed back in the day, and you looked a little like Lee Priest, especially facially with the hairdo and everything like that. I'm sure a lot of people made the comparisons.
I'd get that a fair bit. I wouldn't tell them I wasn't Lee Priest either.
How did the transition, well, first of all, how did you get the gig writing for Muscle Mag International? Because you had that for a number of years. You'd write these crazy articles. I loved them. I don't know if anyone else read them, but I read them from top to bottom, thought they were hysterically funny.
It's funny to this day how many people come up and say they like that stuff. I think, I'll be honest, I just kept sending things to Bob Kennedy and Gino and just sending them. And then one day Bob Kennedy rang me and he's in this stupid voice, "Oh, yeah, this is Bob Kennedy here." And I'm like, who the F's this? I haven't got time for this crap. And he goes, "Guys, this is Bob Kennedy." And I'm like, "Oh, Bob Kennedy?" And then he offered me, he said, "I like what you're doing." He offered me the role. And then I just started creating things. I thought there was an article where I made some really good money called Through the Keyhole, where I'd actually just follow a guy doing an actual workout and take pictures of what he did hardcore. And so then basically I was getting paid for the story and for the pictures. And then I had my own article. So for like two years, and I'm never, if everyone all this talking about how much money they make, I'm never afraid of that. At that time I was doing pretty well. I was making like near to $3,500 a month writing various different columns and everything.
Bob Kennedy was very generous with what he paid the athletes, what he paid the writers for the Muscle Mag articles.
He was really good with, I know David Paul had a good arrangement. He loved David Paul. And Robert was a very cool guy. He's, and Gino, they were very cool to deal with. And I just come up with some new ideas. And then I think the new ownership came over and basically that part of my life phased out. But I enjoyed it, but it was funny because, as I said, I still can't really write, but Dick Jones, if he's listening, he would, I guess, translate my articles into English, and every month he'd send me a list of things, and I was so bad, guys, that it was telling me the different theirs and what they meant.
I can only imagine. I've edited some John Romano's articles, and before they're edited, they're horrendously written. But the content is good, but the writing is not that good. But look, that's what that's when magazines were big. Once Bob kind of sold the magazines and they got out of it, and it kind of was the end of the magazine industry anyway. Now it's all about the internet, and you have an interesting new project that you've been involved in. It's called 6 Feet Down and Under. And explain to us what it is. It's kind of like a YouTube series, correct?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I've done pretty well with the acting and everything, but I just get roles as a bad guy and an enforcer. And for people that don't know, I was an enforcer. I was a collector. I've been arrested. I was followed by SWAT for 2 weeks. I was arrested by SWAT. My bail was set at over $1 million. This is like 3 years ago. So I've lived a pretty wild life. So I've done a lot of bad guy roles, and I just was like, I'd love to play a good guy role sitting out the front of 24 Hour Fitness. And I know a lot of people in the film industry, so I made a call, and we just started to develop it. And then screenwriters came on, and then people with cameras came on. Because you know how there's so many fitness models and bodybuilders, and you can get Mike O'Hearn bald spot for the cover for a certain amount of money, or you can go get another guy who's not as good looking, not probably just as good looking, but not as well known, and you do it. Acting's a lot like that. There's so many talented people out there, and the series got started, and it's basically myself as the first. It's in 15 minutes installments, and the first episode in 3 weeks had like 130,000 hits. So the numbers are good. We signed up with Nishima, and it's a really good action series, and the things that are important are everyone in it is a professional fighter or a real fighter, so the fight sequences are unbelievable. Like, these guys are really good. We're up there in the warehouse till like 2 o'clock last night doing 14 hours of fight scene. So then the weapons control, we had all the military and Anthony Pello, coming to do all the weapons. So everything's done like the army guys are going to watch and go, wow, those guys really knew how to handle the weapons. So the gist of the story is that I'm a hitman, Mick, and I have a partner, Vinny, and I work with, which turns out to be very, very cool. My boss is Mason, who's Vernon Wells, who was in Mad Max, the guy with the big afro, warrior. He was also Bennett in Commando. So this is a guy that I watched on TV in Australia, and now I'm on set working with him as my boss. And
original Mad Max he was in.
Sorry, mate?
The original Mad Max, right?
Number 2. He was the guy who had the big mohawk, and then you had the...
Virgin, not the new one that's out.
Yes, that one, yeah. The Mel Gibson one. Yeah, me too. And then sitting on set and hearing his stories. So I'm just getting to work with a legend, and then there's another family, obviously, of monsters, and I'm a hitman, and the father... My boss's son and the other boss's daughter are trying to get together to overkill people, so they've got an assassin hired to kill me. So I'm a hired killer with someone trying to kill me. There's also my daughter Jessie that comes into it, and for the life that you lead when you're a bad person, you can't have any connections to anything because it can be taken away from you. So then there becomes turmoil on my character where he now has a little girl to protect and look after. And the beautiful thing is the series did so well. We just shooting the second episode, and we have Titania Dakter, who's a superhero from Russia, who's in the series. We have the Blue Ranger from Power Rangers, Yoshi, in there. So we've got so many talented people that just wanted to come on board because the show did so well, and it just seems to be steamrolling.
That guy.
Say again, buddy?
How do you make money from like a YouTube series like that?
I don't know, mate. I'll let you know when I find out.
So there's no business model? You're just making these videos for the hell of it?
Yeah, well, we will be making money. Initially, for me, it was to become a producer. It's funny, but the guy's on set and he's like, how much are you getting paid? And I'm like, costing me money, bro. I'm not making a cent. This is costing me money. The idea originally for me was for us to showcase our talent so people could see it. And then the series just started to pick up and do really well. And now we're starting to get a following. And the thing is to turn, we've got a full movie written and we're shooting it in installments, and then we can combine it into a movie and then perhaps
Gotcha.
sell it as a movie.
Gotcha.
So that's our market plan. But doing this internet series thing is great because, Dave, everything's going to the internet now. Everything, free TV, free this, free that. So we've got another show called Heroes with Issues, which I'm not I'm involved in, but not as a producer or anything. And it's basically Dr. Hutton doing a therapy session with superheroes like Superman, and we've got one with Deadpool and Wonder Woman, and they're hilarious, talking about their issues and the angers with the other people and that. So that's through Truly Indie Studios, which did 6 Feet Down Under, as well as The Lackey, which won awards. And we're up actually for that one fight scene we did. We're up for the prestigious Best Fight Scene Award. So it's going in a great direction.
Let me take another track. You mentioned earlier you were an enforcer 3 years ago. I didn't know it was so recently. What does that mean? What did you do? You went out and collect money for people?
Basically, I started off as an enforcer, just like as more of a collector. When people owe money, I would be the person to go and ask for that money back, and then you'd have a certain fee which would be associated with that. And then
up for a second. What's the most effective? Because I have people that owe me money. What's the most effective way of getting someone to pay you money? Seriously,
honestly, the like men are the best, because simply all you'll do is you'll just, and then you do your due diligence. They've got a wife or something, and you just say to them, normally, how is your wife going to feel about the fact that you've got a $20,000 gambling debt? And I guarantee the man will pay that debt. A lot of it's not brutality or force. It's doing due diligence on what they do. And is their wife the breadwinner? Is the dad the breadwinner? Where is the money coming from? And, I'm not going to say I haven't slapped anyone around a little bit back in the past, but it was definitely a life-changing event when I got arrested. And then I actually got arrested when they took my resume out of the back of my car, and just as they'll put me in the back of the truck, I heard Deadliest Warrior. And that's the first show I've ever done. It was, remember on Spike TV, the show Deadliest Warrior? Well, I was a gladiator who fought the Apache. So when they said a glimmer of hope was in my eyes, so I get transported all the way down to Ontario, and I find out this after the fact. While they're transporting me, they're all on Google, Googling me. They're like, oh, this is Mr. Scott. Look at his routine. Look at this. In the 2 hours that I'm being transported, they know who I am. So by the time I get to the police station, I'm very respectful. And I wasn't an angel, but I knew what they had me for I hadn't done. And if I had done it, it wasn't in a way that was incriminating. So I got arrested on a Friday, and anyone that knows that you get arrested on a Friday, that's the worst day to get arrested. You're staying in there all weekend. So I said, he put me in the chair at like 4:30, and he goes, so guess what, your attorney? I said, no. I said, I'm going to sit here and babble. I'm going to babble and babble and babble, and you will know that I am telling you the truth and that this is a lie. And long story short, the guy said to me, I can't believe this. You're telling the truth. I do believe you. And then I also said, he goes, I'm sorry, but you need to spend the 3 days in jail. And I said, could you do me a favor then, please, and just put me straight into solitary confinement? Because if you put me with the population, I'm going to have a fight straight away, because that's what happens. You go in there, someone's going to try and take your shoes, or someone's going to try something, and you've got to hit them and you've got to hurt them, and you've got to hurt them really bad. So all the other inmates are like, damn, leave him alone. Unfortunately, I've got some experience. I said, just do me a favor and put me in solitary confinement so I don't get charged on top of this. So he says, hold on a second. So he goes and talks to a judge, comes back 20 minutes later, goes, look, I'm going to let you go because you've been so honest and nice to me. At the end of it, he drove me home in his own time back from Ontario, and he said to me, do me a favor. You cannot get arrested before Monday, because your thing is so bad in the system that if you do get arrested, helicopters are going to come to you. So just lay low and be careful. So Detective Gusky, I love you. Thank you. And it was a funny thing, Dave. I was walking in the cell, and it was 7.5 steps each way, and I do this with my hands. I don't know why, but this is my prison thing. And I'm just walking back and forth, and I'm going, you know what? I can run this place. I'm going to be the top dog. I'm going to die eventually, and I'm accepting all that. And then it was like, you've got a kid. You selfish, this and that. And I swear to God, it's the only time I've ever done it. But I went, God, if you get me out of this, I promise to God I'm going to be good. And the thing was, I'd actually stopped doing what I'd been doing months before. They just caught wind of something and were following me. So I'm out of the trouble, and I do work for the army and everything, and trying to get involved with the police force. So I'm on the good side of the law. And I actually love the cops. As many times as I've been arrested, they've been nothing but cool with me.
What was the worst thing you've been arrested for?
The first thing was...
The worst thing?
Impersonating my best friend's license when I got pulled over by the cops in Australia.
Bad crime?
Not really. The guy was pretty cool. He was I was Mr. Australia, and so... And Sydney's pretty small, so cops and armies and doormen, they're all bodybuilders. They all like muscle, so I'd get away with a lot of things. Like the doorman would be, I'd be walking Oxford Street or through the Opera House at like 4 a.m. doing my cardio, and the doorman would be going, "Hey Grundy, what's up? When are you going to come in?" So, and then a lot of just fighting. I got into trouble for a lot of things because I got beat up a lot as a kid, and I remembered every single person that beat me up. There are 3 of you left, all right, in Australia from like when I was 12. There are 3 of you left, and I am going to come and I'm going to get you. So there was a time where I got big, and I just, obviously I had anger issues, abandonment issues. This was my way of just getting it back by beating people up, and I went through that stage and got the power out of it, but then realized that, I used to say to people, why do you never ever fight with another good fighter? And I say, because you just, by looking at each other, you're both good fighters, and you don't want to fight. It's the guys that are like, yeah, bro, yeah. It worked on my core more today and all those things. They're the ones that are still trying to prove themselves, the ones that are still trying to tell you how great they are. And that's to me, that's in any industry, like in acting. When I'm sitting there and the guy comes down and he starts telling me about his stuff, I'm like it's like talking to Johnny Drummer. I'm like, bro, seriously? I'll just walk away. So there's a lot of immature people that don't believe in themselves, and I think they're the ones that are always bragging and always talking. And then there are smart ones that do it for media hype to get a little bit of attention, of course.
Media hype, because you and Mike O'Hearn have had an online feud for quite a while. I understand that he got upset that you had implied that he might not be a natural athlete. Is that how the whole thing started?
Pretty much. Someone just said to me, do you think Mike O'Hearn's a natural athlete? And I said, I've never seen him take anything, but I don't believe it's possible to get that big, and I don't. And, the thing is, people used to say to me before I took steroids, man, you take steroids. I took it as a compliment that, well, you think I can get this big without it? So long story short, he jumps on my webpage and starts saying comments, and I know people within the fight industry and whatever, and Mike can't fight for shit. So, Mike, anytime you want that fight, I already agreed to it. He claims to be a 2-time state judo champion. He can't even tell you who he got his belt under. He can't even tell you what year it was. What? Yes, I do think he's lying about that.
So did Mike call you out and actually challenge you to a fight? Is that true? Because you know what, Johnny has a video. Let's play this video clip and let's see what he says.
Hey guys, 220. It's 12 o'clock. Here is my $5,000 that I said I'd bring today.
Is Guy here? Have you seen Guy?
I have not seen Guy, but I am doing this for a couple different things. I'm doing this for abused women. I'm giving my proceeds that I win to abused women. The one thing that happens on the internet is people talk and they talk and they talk. And one thing that he started is he started talking, which I brought my money. I'm here at noon. We're setting this up. It's gonna be 1 round, no time limit, KO, lockout, submission fight between him and me here at 220, and that's it. But I'm gonna give my proceeds to abused women just because this is a guy that's talking, but you guys might not know this, the character. It's about character, and this is a guy that's been charged with beating up his woman, and I will not have that. I will not have that. And I will not have somebody talking smack like that. So that's it. We're going to do this. We're going to do the fight. We're going to put it on TMZ for the world to see and get this guy's character. Thank you.
So, Guy, how do you answer that? I mean, Mike called you a woman beater. He said he was there with $5,000 in hand, ready to fight you. You didn't show up.
I wasn't there mate. This is the exact same. This is exactly what happened. Mateo rings me and he says, "You're not," and you can call Mateo, who owns 220, and goes, "Sorry, buddy."
Who's Mateo? You got to start.
He's the one that's in the video with Mike, and he owns 220. He texts me. I've even got it. "You're not coming to the gym today, are you?" Because I never go there. Okay, so Mike does that. He jumps in the ring and he does his little thing. First off, the guy is a compulsive liar. His real name's Patrick. He's a year older than he says he is. But so many people hate this guy. You've got no idea the personal information that people have sent me from all over the world on him for different things. Like, and if you look at all the messages, he's got so many haters. And then he goes on and calls me a woman beater and that I have a record for it. Guys, go check the police. I've got no reports, nothing at all to do that. So the man goes on TV and calls me a woman beater. I lost a role on TV. I have a 13-year-old daughter who comes to me and says, "Why are people calling you a wife beater?" You know what I mean? Like, the guy is a total wanker. And then I said, "Bro, yes, I accept your fight. We can do it in the ring. We can do Muay Thai. We can do submission." And the other thing, you dope, a KO and a knockout are the same thing. That's how much little you know about fighting. So I accepted the challenge. It's out there. 50 to 60,000 people have seen it. All you did was make yourself look like a fool, bro. Why would you pick me out of anyone to fight? Because I will kick your butt. So, Mike, if you get this to him, Dave, you tell him all we need to do is set up a date. Obviously, I've got TV work and that, and and none of this legal stuff, bro. I can get us a cage, a ring, and we will film it. We will live stream it, and we will see who wins, bro. And I guarantee you, Mike, every time you look in the mirror, you're going to think of me because there are going to be dents and scratches and scrapes and scars because I'm going to hurt you, bro. You insulted me. The little calling me out means nothing because that's just comedy to me because you're a fool. But when you call me a wife beater, and it just shows you, to everyone out there, the man called me a wife beater and the facts are I'm not. Who would do that to another human being? I'm a person of exceptional ability who lived on the street, battled my life to come here to live in America, live my dream to be this. This guy's born here, given every privilege there is known to mankind, and you're a balding, faded, old Barbie doll who's at the end of their career, bro. You should be ashamed of what you've achieved with your life. So now I'm relaxed, but the answer, bro, is if you want to fight Mike, boom, boom. I will put my fist through the back of your head, stand on top of it, shine your little bald spot, sign my name to Mick from Grundy, and I'll walk off to the next person, buddy. You picked the wrong person to be tough with. And everyone's laughing at you. You've had nothing to say since I've accepted the fight. Dave, have you heard anything since I accepted the fight?
You know, why do you call him bald spot? Does he have a bald spot? I never saw a bald spot on him.
Yes, he does. Like right here. That's the thing. The guy acts like he's perfect, but right here, mate. See, this is my real hair. I shave it. But right there, that's the Mike O'Hearn bald spot. So every time, regardless of this fight happens or not, the fact is that everyone calls the guy bald spot now. And I'm the one that gave you that nickname, bald spot. So when you die and you're like, "Oh, that bastard Grundy," yeah.
I always tell Mike he's too good looking. I don't trust guys that is that good looking. But now that you told me he's got a bald spot, I don't feel so bad. I feel like he's human now. Now, truth be told, if Mike accepts this fight and gets in the ring with you, is there strategy with him? Do you have a strategy in mind how you got to take him out, or is it just like you're just going to go crazy on him?
Oh, if I fought Mike, he's a big man, a very big man. I'd let him. And the way he trains and everything, I train high reps. My conditioning would destroy him. I would let him come at me. He could throw a few punches. He could grapple with me a little bit. But after a minute or two, the man's conditioning would be gone, and then I'd have my way with him easily. Easily.
Well, Mike O'Hearn, look, I got to tell you, I'm friends with Mike O'Hearn. I've interviewed him before. Mike, there's been a challenge issue to you here. Guy Grundy is pissed off that you assassinated his character, that he says you've backed down. Even though you made the call out, you kind of backed off the fight. Look, the fight can happen. We can make it happen. We can live stream it. We can send Johnny Styles out there. We can do it in New York. We can do it in California, wherever you guys want to do it. So it's out there. It's out there, and Guy wants his reputation back.
Perfect. Let's make it real clear. So he can't back out. He made the challenge. I accepted it. It's all over YouTube. You do the thing with Johnny. We'll live stream it. We are both in California. I can find us a ring. I can find us a cage. All I need is time I want to promote it, obviously, to get as many people so I can whoop Bald Spot's ass and then sign his head. I'm actually going to get a little keyring with a little bald spine, because ever since that happened, I've been in movie roles and everything. Like, he's my little lucky charm.
Or movie roles. You or Mike O'Hearn?
I think Mike, I don't know. I wouldn't care. I'm an Australian. We speak what we mind. This is a story about Mike. I tried to talk to him. I admired him. I got on the bike with him. I'm sitting beside him at Gold's Gym, and I say, "Hey, Mike, I remember when I was young, I seen a picture of you in your Jeep in front of Gold's Gym, and I thought, man, one day I'd love to be able to do that. That would be such an honor." And I'm sharing my heart with the man. You know what the man does? Starts flicking through his phones and then starts showing me pictures of himself. I just looked at him and I just shook my head and walked away. And I've never talked to the guy again.
Some of the fitness guys in the industry are just jealous of Mike because he's so successful and he actually makes money. And, whatever the case may be, maybe some of his biography has been fabricated, but all Hollywood people kind of do that, for sensationalism. I think there's a lot of jealousy and envy because Mike is successful.
Doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And I wouldn't we wouldn't even be having this discussion had he not badmouthed me. But this is what I will say, okay? And I say this to my others that are natural. You know the difference, Dave, between being a natural bodybuilder and taking steroids. There's a huge difference, okay? There's no way Mike is natural. Everyone knows that. You know that. Everyone knows. You're not 250 pounds walking around like that. What's demeaning to me is there are guys that are out there that are truly natural, that really work hard, that don't get any recognition, but they're doing what he's doing, and he's lying and getting away with it. And then that just annoys me. And it didn't annoy me before, but the guy got under my skin. So basically anything I can find to make myself dislike him anymore, like when I stubbed my toe when I was 7, that's his fault. You know what I mean? I just don't like the guy, and I'm actually really insulted that he would call me out, because I am known as someone who fights. So is he stupid or whatever it is, but get in contact with him and just tell him that whatever style he wants. Like I wanted to do boxing because obviously that is the easiest and safest to do, but all we need to do is just set it up and get a date together. Get Johnny to come and live stream it. But it's not going to be, we're not 12-year-olds. We're going to walk out and do it in 10 minutes. We're going to have time to prepare for it, time to promote it. And that way I can also use that as hype towards my series that I'm fighting Mike O'Hearn, and I can start to build some hype. So, Mike, I get to kick your ass and use your name as a building block. Bro, I'm actually grateful to you. I feel like buying you a little bit of carpet so you can cover your bald spot. That's how I feel.
We could take any of the proceeds we make we can donate it to charity. Maybe Mike could pick the charity because he seems to be a charitable guy. And this way, it's a good, feel-good type of boxing match, celebrity boxing match. Well, Guy, good luck with the YouTube special, because I'm a big believer in original TV programming. We do it over here at RXMuscle. I can appreciate the long hours you put in on the set. I know there's no reward right now, but down the road there will be. I have a good feeling that you're going to make your way into a couple movies, big production movies down the road. And best of luck. Always keep us updated. We'd love to get you back with updates. And I'm sure Mike O'Hearn's going to watch this video. And as soon as I hear from him, if we can make this happen, we're going to have the fight of the century. Beautiful. I love it. I look forward to it, Mike O'Hearn. Bald spot. All right. That's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.